very distinctly remember when we were in middle school and we had an aunt that just stopped talking to my mom. For a year and a half, when we would go to family get-togethers, she would not say a word to her, acted like she did not even exist. And then one day, all of a sudden, she just started talking to her again. To this day, we still don't know what happened and why that happened, but as I look back now, my mom handled that so well. She never talked down about her, she didn't make a scene about it at the holidays, she just went on like it wasn't happening. And I actually really admire that about her, because looking back now, that had to take a lot of determination and mental fortitude to be able to do that. And unfortunately, there's a good chance that you might have stories to tell like that as well. The holidays can just get complicated. And sometimes when we already have strained relationships with family and friends, the holidays actually seem to heighten it. Everyone is stressed and a little frazzled anyways. So today we're gonna talk all about dealing with difficult family dynamics during the holidays, but we'll talk about some fun things too, like our holiday greeting cards and also our holiday decor. How do we declutter it and simplify it, but still keep the joy? And I have some fun new decorations that I've been checking out as well that we'll unbox it together and spend some time answering your questions. All right, now I know you're gonna ask me where my sweater is from. So it is from the Ann Taylor Loft outlet this season. I'm still a little undecided on it. The colors are mostly in my palette, but it's just a touch busy, maybe. I don't know, I loved it when I saw it at the store and now I'm a little on the fence about it, but nonetheless, here we are. And I do have my outfits that I showed earlier in the week in my Amazon storefront, but I'll link them here as well. I try not to hide links and just make it really obvious, right? All right, why don't we bust through greeting cards really quickly and then we can talk about the more complicated topic of family dynamics. So in your printables, you're gonna find a holiday greeting card checklist. And this is gonna feel like a repeat of yesterday, because just like I wanted you to be very aware of the events that you're committing to, I want you to fully appreciate all that goes into sending out holiday greeting cards. So as we decide if we are going to send out holiday greeting cards or not, and if so, what type, I want you to take a glance through this list and be very aware of how much time and budget they require, because for most of us, we are limited on both. Yesterday, we talked about our holiday time pie, right? Does this fit into your time pie? And if not, we have a couple options. One, we could just say, not this year. We'll revisit it again next year. That is totally acceptable. You could go from a photo card to a regular style greeting card. You could simplify your photo card and just use a snapshot that's already on your phone. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Or you could also do an email newsletter. I know a lot of families have pivoted to that, and it can also be very enjoyable to receive. So again, you'll see at the top of the printable, it's gonna ask you a few of these questions, like, do you actually have time for this, right? And I think, you know, in a perfect world, how fun is it to get professional photos taken, to have coordinating outfits? And I love it because it's such a great snapshot of our family at that time in life, especially when we have small kids. But as life got busier and busier, to do formal photos, the cost of it, I love family photographers, but it's not nothing, right? We started evolving to just doing snapshots from our phone. We would sometimes pick the card format where you have the montage of photos. Also great. I actually, when we get cards in the mail, I actually like the more candid, real life ones better. I feel like it just really depicts what life is like for that family right now, currently. And I think they're really fun to get. My sister actually has done that, and she has already done with her photo cards for this year, because she just picked a photo of their family from an event earlier this year and was like, all right, there we go. Is it perfect? Nope. It's not perfect, but it's a snapshot into their life right now. And this is absolutely one of those things that we can do now, get checked off our list. Again, if it's important to you and it fits into your holiday time pie, it's absolutely one of those things that we can get done now. Especially if we remember that most people just throw them away at the end of the season, okay? Right? And you have permission to throw the ones away that you get too. Okay, so for today, decide if you are going to send out greeting cards, what type, and if you are gonna do a photo greeting card, are they gonna be professional photos or just something off of your phone? And could you get that knocked out by the end of the weekend? All right, now I'm excited to share this segment that I did with my sister Diana. And so it is all about navigating difficult family dynamics, but I think this is gold. I think if you can grasp onto this, it could diffuse 95% of the sticky situations that you find yourself in. So I really hope that you find it helpful. All right, your key phrase for this session is brevity is sanity. Should we say it one more time? Brevity is sanity. But this, I thought, Diana, was so good. I was listening to a podcast the other day. We're gonna help you reframe what's actually going on when it feels like they're coming after you. Like, why do you homeschool? Why are you gluten-free? Why does your kid have the brand new iPhone? Those types of things.
Oh, you went on that vacation. Must be nice.
Must be nice, right? So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the gentleman was talking about why do people disagree on things, right? And he said it's really helpful if you just highly simplify it down to two tribes protecting themselves, protecting their valuables, protecting their beliefs, that they need to carry it on, right? And if someone else is coming against them, they have to power up and gear up, right? And the problem being that it's very costly when two tribes clash. If they actually want to overtake one another and win, there's like lives at stake, right? There's like plundering going on. It's costly, it's messy. And so I thought this was helpful. So again, if we imagine we are at a family gathering and someone comes up and challenges something that our tribe...
Oh, you're retiring already, huh?
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
And challenges us on something, I think it can actually be helpful to think, oh, okay, that's just their tribal beliefs powering up here. Something I did or about my lifestyle or my family is challenging them, and they're just feeling a need to protect their tribe, to protect their beliefs, and to keep it from being plundered and us taking them over.
Yep.
So again, we're at the family gathering, someone comes up, questions. I mean, I think that's what a lot of it comes down to. Questions, why are you doing that, basically, right?
You let your teenager dye her hair that color.
Yep. And so I think it's really helpful to be like, oh, we're going to battle right now.
You see yourself as this tribe.
Yeah.
And we're this tribe.
We're team. I let my team color her hair whatever she wants to, right? You're not. That's fine, right? But then you get to decide. Diana, you get to decide. Do you want to go into battle at Thanksgiving?
No.
Oh, okay.
Never.
Right?
I want to eat my pumpkin pie and get out of here.
Yeah. So like actually think about your mother-in-law. Okay, we always get down on mother-in-laws, but the family member, like they have like war paint on and they have their like spear and their thing and they're like, do you want to go to war over this? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Not even close.
We're saying we don't actually want to engage in this, right?
And this is where brevity is sanity. Yes, we've made that decision.
Mm-hmm. So the idea being that you give the shortest reply possible, the fewest amount of words.
Yeah. So, yes.
Oh, you let your son get the brand new iPhone?
Yes.
Wow, you are going on a 48-day cruise to the Bahamas?
Can I? Yes.
Oh, wow. Did you have to like refinance your home to pay for that?
Yes. But even if, like, let's even say it gets that far. Like, if you don't defend, then you're not causing them to continue to attack.
Yeah.
Right.
And they start to feel a little silly after
if you
a while.
if you literally don't try to explain it or defend it, you're just like, Yep.
Oh, you're homeschooling again?
Well, and I was ready for that, but then someone said, oh, your oldest said she really wishes she could go to school.
Yeah, she says that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's cute, isn't it?
What else are they supposed to say? Oh, do you think you will send them back to school?
No. It's like it completely diffuses it. It's like, well, what are they? They can keep trying, but it's like,
what can they do, right? All right, so that's our first tactic. Brevity is sanity. Number two, there's some other key phrases you could do. One I like is, oh, why do you ask? And this can be good.
That's actually helpful.
Because sometimes you don't know. What if your cousin comes up, oh, I hear you homeschool. You don't know if she's asking because she has a 4-year-old and is curious about it, or if she's attacking your tribe, right?
Or I heard you're gluten-free and maybe she's looking for some tips and recipes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you can just say, why do you ask? Well, because I think, homeschool children are this, oh, okay. So then you can jump ship if it's like, let me go back to brevity and sanity, right? Another one could be like, oh, I talk about that all the time. Maybe they're asking something about work, homeschool, gluten-free. I end up talking about that all the time. Let's talk about something else. And then you ask them a question about.
Yeah.
Yep. Or worst case, you use your brevity and you say, oh, I'm sorry, I really have to go to the bathroom right now. Or I really have to go check on the kids. Or, you know what, I told my husband that I would come bring this over to him. And then you have a way to excuse yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Best thing about having your smartwatch on, like, oh, look at that. I didn't get all my steps in yet today. I'm just going to go take a lap around the city.
Yeah. Don't wait up for me. So there's a lot of wisdom in brevity is sanity. and knowing what we can and can't control. So again, as we head into the holidays, sometimes we can feel a little helpless, a little like, well, they're just attacking me, but do understand there are things that you can control. I remember when Diana and I worked at the radio station, we had a therapist on the air with us, and a gal called in and she was just like, my holidays are just really toxic. And I don't even like to throw that word around, you know, whatever. And I just remember Jim saying, you don't have to go. And we both were like, no, Mom and Grandma said that we have to go.
It's required.
Yeah. And that was the first time I'd ever heard someone say like, oh, well, that actually is within your control.
Yeah.
You can decide if you go or not. You can decide how long you stay. You can tell your spouse, you know what, if it does start to get, the conversation goes too sideways or we feel uncomfortable, then we are going to leave. Yep. Okay. Even if that means you have to drive separate to the event.
And it doesn't mean that's every year. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean this is your statement moving forward for the rest of your life. It just means in this season, for whatever reason, this has been a heavy work season. Kids have been really stressful, caring for my aging parents, whatever it might be. My capacity, I cannot handle that. Yeah. And that's okay. Because again, it can sound a little like, you're not going to the family holiday, but if it's like, this is a decision for this year in order to protect my emotional health, my peace, yes, this is my decision for this year.
Yeah. And so we do have, some principles that I think are helpful. Again, the key being that we have to think these things through before we get there, and we have to have these mindsets ready to go. Lastly, one of my favorite things too is just to remember that we can't make anyone happy, right? We can help manage expectations. Oh my goodness, have we tried? Right? We can help manage expectations of people. We can do what we can to show love and grace, especially this time of year. But at the end of the day, happiness and joy is something that each person must choose for themselves. We have to choose it for ourselves each day. They have to choose it for themselves. And so always remember, there's nothing you can do to make someone else happy. You can't get a cool enough gift for them. You can't bring just the right side dish. You can't wash all the dishes. Nothing like that is enough to actually make someone happy.
Last thought?
Brevity is
sanity.
Oh, is that it?
Well,
no, okay.
One other thing then, what this helps you to do, you know how you start rehearsing the conversations and your responses ahead of time? Oh, another new vehicle. And then you're like, well, Joe got a bonus. And then, and so then we decided the old one, like the brakes were going out. And then it was the transmission. And so we thought like, yes. If it's just like, yes, we got a new car.
Yeah.
Yes. It actually stops all of that rumination and worrying about how am I going to respond? What are they going to think? And just, you're free to live your life. You're not going to change that tribe. Your tribe's doing what your tribe feels is best to you. We're not going to go to war with that tribe. Yes. Got a new crossover.
So our challenge to you is to have all of your one-word answers ready to go. Pretty much yes, no, maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
So,
sounds like it. Yeah, sounds like it.
All right. Well, and again, I actually forgot to introduce my twin sister. So we haven't been spending quite as much time on this side of the camera together, but always good to be with her. And if you are looking for faith-based content, why don't you give us a quick commercial, Diana?
I love helping busy women understand the Bible so that you can build a deep faith and live from peace. You can follow me on YouTube. I also have a membership community where I lead a live guided Bible study every single weekend. We have daily micro readings to, again, just help unlock the Bible and help us grow in understanding. So.
Yeah. Well, and I know we have a lot of friends in common here. So if you've been part of Diana's group or Bible study, if you want to throw in a comment or a quick testimony, every day we hear the stories of women that are just like, wow, I was so hard on myself. Like I had so much shame around all the things I'm not doing right with my faith that I wanted to do. And so I love how you guys break it down. You support one another, and even when like hard things come up in life, your help, pave the way for what to do, what to say, and how to react. So
having a place where you can just let your guard down and talk about faith and the hard things. And so, is it awesome? Yes.
That's awesome. All right, now I also don't want to blow past our friends who are grieving this holiday season. And I have learned so much about the grief process over the last year and a half, 2 years. And, you know, I don't like talking about it, but it's been a year now since my divorce was finalized. And so navigating all of that for myself with the kids, it was a lot. It's just something that you don't know until you're in it. You don't know what it's going to be like. And so many of you have found yourselves in situations that you didn't expect and that we don't actually get prepared, and we're not given tools to know how to deal with. And so last year, inside of our membership group, we actually went through a book by David Kessler called The Sixth Stage of Grief, and it was his workbook. So he has a book called The Sixth Stage of Grief, and then there's a workbook that goes along with it. And for 6 weeks we met and we went through it together. If you join our membership group now, you can get access to the replays of that. We're going to do something similar this year. I just don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it was very powerful to go through it together as a group. Especially I was grieving the end of my marriage, and then just hearing from all the other women what they were grieving and dealing with. And there's a couple things that I learned through it. I will definitely link to those resources. The books are great, but he also has other great free online workshops, grief groups, support groups that you can join. Those do have a little bit of a monthly fee, but worth their weight in gold. But there's a couple things that I learned through that process that I just want to share with you quick, and then we're going to move on to, we're going to hear from John Delony about choosing guilt over resentment, and then we'll lighten things up and talk about like holiday decor and stuff. Okay, I promise. But a couple things I learned. One, the most powerful thing I've learned from David Kessler is he is the one that has said, grief demands a witness. Grief demands a witness. You know, we can actually withstand a lot. We can weather a lot. We can do really hard things, but we can't do it alone. Grief demands a witness. We need someone else witnessing our pain and grief and listening to us talk about it, to retell the stories, just being that sounding board, letting us know that we're not crazy, that it's very normal. And so grief demands a witness. And I really hope that you have someone in your context. It really only takes one person that will listen to you, hear you, validate you. You know, I shared it earlier this week, but Jay Shetty says that as humans, what we all need is to feel safe, seen, and supported. And especially when you're grieving, you need to be seen. And it's often very helpful if the person has some kind of relatable experience to draw on. It's not required, but it can be really helpful. And so even if you don't find yourself right now in a season of grief, I hope this is helpful. So if anyone around you is grieving, that you can just have a little bit better understanding of what they need and how you can support them. And so if you are in the supporter role right now, one of the best things you can say, because I know sometimes we're like, I don't know what to say. One of the best things that you can say is, do you want to talk more about that? Do you want to tell me more about it? To bring up the loved ones. I know a member in our group here a little bit earlier this week said, I lost my daughter and I feel like everyone has forgotten about her. And so to bring up your favorite memories of that loved one, you know, my really good friend Mary Beth, oh gosh, shoot, I don't want to cry, lost her son this year. And she was like, talk about him, talk about him. I want to hear people talk about him. And I mean, following his funeral and everything, she heard so many cool stories about the impact that Roger had on other people's lives. But that was super cool. After the funeral, they don't want it to stop. She's like, you're not going to remind me of it. I think of it every other minute, right? And they love hearing the stories. So especially around Christmas, for you to go up and say, hey, do you know what my favorite memory of Roger was? Hey, do you remember this funny Christmas thing that happened? You are not making them sadder. Actually, you are helping to witness their grief and for them to be seen and for them to know that that really special person to them hasn't been forgotten about. So grief demands a witness, and you can be an awesome witness to others. Talk about their loved ones. And then the other thing I learned is that there's really no timeline to it. David Kessler will say that if you have lost someone significant, whether it was through death or through divorce or someone just up and stops talking to you, abandonment, betrayal, that he's like, a year? He's like, that's nothing. That is nothing in the face of grief. And that was really validating. And I know sometimes those of you who have lost people in your life, it feels like people are just ready to rush you through the process and move on. Like, oh, it's been a year. Okay, you've been through all the seasons. Great. You should know what to expect now. Yes and no. I mean, in many ways, like I felt a lot of relief this fall when we passed the 1 year mark, and I'm like, okay, the year of firsts is done. We have done everything for the first time now. It was a huge weight off of my shoulders, and I was really glad for that. And also, I'm still looking towards the holidays with some uneasiness of, I still don't know exactly what it's going to be like this year. And so, does a year make a difference? Absolutely. Does it make everything better? No, it doesn't. And it's different for all of us. And so I know many of you have lost loved ones, and it's been 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and there are still things, especially around the holidays, that come up that remind you of them. And so that's very normal. And I'm sorry that our culture really does not do a good job with this. Other cultures actually have much more longer grieving periods and better traditions around it, I think, but it is what it is. But it is also cool that there are a lot of resources around us now, and so we can learn more and grow more in this. All right, so let's real quick hear from Dr. John Delony about choosing guilt over resentment. It'll make more sense once he explains it. What if there are holiday get-togethers I am not looking forward to because there are toxic people there? Do we call them toxic people? I don't know.
One of the most freeing moments of my life was a conversation. It's a long backstory, but I was in one of my counseling classes, and I was using my counseling classes also as a moment to heal myself too, because I had gone through it. And long story short, I had a back and forth with a person who'd been a therapist forever, who was also going back to grad school. And we were talking about how much it would stink if somebody, a client, said, "You're terrible and you're no good at this." And she said magic words. She said, "John, they don't get that." And I was like, "Oh, is that when you dumb counseling things?" And she said, "No, here's the magic words. You get to decide who hurts your feelings." Wow. Your boss can take away your livelihood. Somebody can kill you. They can take away your life. They can take away your home. They can do all these things. But you get to decide who hurts you. Wow. And I was like, that's so stupid. I rode my bike home in the hot Texas wind. It's like riding a bike in a blow dryer. And I was trying to think of, okay, who have I given permission to? And I realized I had given everyone in my life. I'd given my students, their parents. They would call and say, "You suck at your job." And oh gosh, like I'm not, you don't get to decide that. And then I'd given it to my kids. My son was 2. I'd given my, wow, my permission to hurt my feelings to a 2-year-old. You don't get that, right? And so it's when I started calling that out. Now, you just, the magic phrase for me is you don't get a vote. Yeah. You don't get a vote. And so I'm going to go to a party. I get to choose whether I go to the party or not. And I get to say, I'm not going.
What if it's my mother-in-law?
That sounds fantastic. I'm not going to be able to make it this year. You know what I mean? We sent an email out. We always host Christmas at our house in Nashville. Our family flies in from all over. And I sent an email out in September and said, I'm not going to be a good host this year, so we're taking a year off. The responses from my family was like, "Oh, thank God. It's so good. We're so grateful," right? It was just somebody said something, right? Yeah. And then we said, here's when we're going to be able to meet, and we're going to come to you, and we're going to stay for this long, and we're backing out. It was just me putting boundaries on the table. And if they don't like it, they're allowed to do that because they're grown-ups. I'm not responsible for their response to my boundaries.
Yeah. This must take a little practice.
That's the magic word, it's practice. So the line I love, and it didn't originate with me, but choose guilt over resentment every time. Choose guilt over resentment. If you show up to a party you don't want to be at, and you engage in conversations with combative people you don't want to be having, and you leave feeling less than, you're going to hate that person, you're going to hate the environment, you're going to hate the holidays, you're going to get mad at your kids, you're going to snap at your spouse, and all of that is because you made choices. Choose guilt. I'm not going to go, I'm not going to be able to make it this time, you're going to feel guilty, feel it, guilt's fine. But you're not going to resent people, and resent is when relationships end up in ash. And so I'm not in the business of resenting anymore. Like, dude, I'm not going to be able to make your party. Thank you for the invite. I love it. I'm so grateful. Yeah. And that's all. That's all I owe you.
That's what you get.
And yes, practice.
Okay.
But feel the guilt. The first time you say no, hang up and go. Feel it. Let it wash all over you. Yeah. And then you can say, yeah, that's what's up. You know what I mean? You can just like own it. You just own it.
And next year, I'm not even going to feel guilty.
No, eventually you don't. Eventually you don't. Guilt shows up in other places because it's awesome. But I'm just not. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna own your picture for this party that included me at the table. I'm so grateful. Yeah. But I get to decide whether I come to that table. And if you do go. Yeah. If you choose to go, have a good attitude. Turn it into a sport.
Yeah. So do you have any tips? Like, okay, I'm choosing to go to this get together. I know there's one person in particular that's, maybe gonna just ask questions that I don't want to answer. Do you have any tactics for?
This is me, and I am a 6'2", 195-pound male, so I get that there's a difference. Right, I get it. My wife reminds me all the time. She's like, must be nice. So I get that. But if there's that one person, that's the first person I go talk to at a party. I'm getting that out of the way. My experience has been that person gravitates like a dementor towards anxious people. Just moves that way. Okay. So I'm going directly to them. Yeah. Hey, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Yeah. Still homeschooling your kids? Yeah, it's fantastic. Are you still sending your kids to whatever? Man, how's that? I'm going straight into it. We're gonna end that conversation, and then I'm your whole bodies. So I'm not gonna avoid. I'm going straight to mother-in-law, straight to my mother-in-law's awesome, but I'm going straight to mother-in-law, straight to weird cousin. I'm going right to them. Yeah. We're gonna get this out of the way, and then I'm gonna enjoy this party.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that interaction's gonna happen.
Right.
So I'm gonna have it happen on my terms.
And usually with people that, if you then work to turn it back to them, oh, but how,
Yeah, tell me about your life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. Right. Not in a combative way, but talk about yourself, and then we're moving on.
Yep. And then I'm gonna excuse myself to use the restroom.
Yes, a lot, right?
Awesome. Isn't that so good? This is also why we have to stick together and remind each other of these things, right? You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Doesn't matter if everyone's done it, forever and ever. Awesome. All right. Well, I do want to take a little time to answer your questions now. If you're joining us live, go ahead. If you want to put them in the comments, if you put a question mark ahead of it, makes it a little bit easier for me to recognize. And then coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to switch gears to decluttering holiday decor. So my mom and sister and I'm going to show you a little bit of that. And then I also have some new decor that I want to show you. I unboxed that. Actually, some kind of cool things that if you're looking for any upgrades this season, if not, you can just skip over that section. So are there 1 or 2 more short phrase ideas to answer the difficult questions that aren't yes or no? I love the why do you ask and could use just 1 or 2 more ideas. Kristen, why don't you tell us the type of questions that you're already anticipating? And then I think it might be a little bit easier to know how we can respond. We can all brainstorm that together. That sounds like a fun challenge. How to support my mom when she says, I think we got cut off there. Amanda, go ahead and post that again. We want small Thanksgiving with us 4 in-laws in town. My husband wants to invite them, +4. My grandma was going to be alone, but now it's +3 for her aunt and uncle that live with her if we have her. How to stop? So I think this is something that we really have to talk through with our spouse. And again, we touched on this yesterday. Often, I don't think our partners or spouses or even the others in our context always know how much stress and pressure and extra work comes on us all at the holidays. And so that's where I think if you say, hey, I'm going through this workshop. I really want to have the holidays under control. Hey, look at this workbook. Look at all these checklists. Look, this is all that I'm thinking about when we're planning Thanksgiving. So if we are going to continue to add to the guest list, I'm really going to need to lean on you or who are, wherever else the support is going to come from. We're really going to need to figure out a game plan so that it doesn't all just fall on me this year. And so I think we just have to start having that conversation. The nice thing, especially if you're watching this still in October, now is the time to be having those conversations when we're a little less removed, so it's not quite so emotional. Okay, Amanda, how to best support my mom when my sister, who says she'll show up for family gatherings, never shows. We all know that's just her. Yeah, we had a relative like that too. And it was really hard because her children were there expecting her to come and waiting for her to show up. And we all knew it was like a 25% chance of her actually coming. But yet, how some still, whether it's a mom or a child, still holds out the hope that no, they said this year, no, they're going to, I just talked to them 10 minutes ago, they said they're on their way and you're yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. And so I would, again, talk this out ahead of time. Hey, mom, I know the disappointment we all feel when she doesn't show up. Can we just game plan ahead of time? If she comes, great, we're all going to do this and I'll feel this way. If she doesn't come, can we talk this through what our game plan is going to be? And so I think there, again, it's all about expectations. If we understand that, okay, this is what we're going to do if this expectation isn't met, I think it just makes it easier to navigate. It still sucks, right? But I think if you can pre-talk it through and help her with that, we also can't change anyone's reality. And if they're just choosing to believe no, she's going to, then there's kind of not anything that we can do about it. What if toxic people are there and you don't want to go at all, but it's the only time to see my grandchildren and let them know I love you? Yeah, Deanna. So you're in a tough position. So you are choosing to go, right? Because you want to see your grandkids. I would just do whatever you can to just go straight to them and to focus on them. And again, if others try to come in and hijack it, just yes or no answers, excuse yourself if you need to. But I hope you feel like if you're going in with a plan, like, hey, I get to choose, like if I'm going to let them get under my skin or not, it doesn't mean it's always easy. Like, does not mean it's always easy. But hopefully, if you know the reason you are there is for your grandkids and that these other people aren't getting a vote in your holiday, hopefully that can help a little bit. And I do think it's like we said that, like, this is something we practice. Like, it might not go perfectly this year, but hopefully each year it's going to get a little bit better and a little bit easier. What to do when people comment on how you look. I have lost over 70 pounds this last year due to health issues. I just know everyone is going to say what's going on. Yes. And so you're going to need to have some pre rehearsed answers ready to go and a way to say, oh, yeah, this, like whatever you decide your answer is going to be. Also, Chat GPT can be really helpful with some of these. So if you're like, hey, this is the situation, how can I respond to nosy family? This is what we've been talking about in our membership group a little bit. I know everyone has different feelings around AI, but there are some ways that you can really use it in a helpful way. So like, okay, so help me come up with phrases to answer the question in a way that's not overly personal or sharing all my beeswax, right? And then how do you shift it? And so then it's like, oh, but tell me, like, I heard that Sam is in soccer this year. Or I heard he made varsity. And so you have your like one line reply and then your game plan of how you are going to shift it. And this could be even something you rehearse in the car with your spouse or someone else, like to say like, okay, like, even just like Diana and I were just doing, we have to bring, a little levity, into it. And sometimes we just build it up and it's going to be such this big thing and to be like, okay, all right. And you can have some funny answers or whatever too. And just, a lot of times people, it's because they care even, but it comes out real sideways, right? All right, we did that one. How are you avoiding awkward conversations about your relationship? And yeah, I have little ears around me too right now. Again, I think this is where going in with pre-rehearsed. When we got to Thanksgiving last year, there were people that had no idea what had transpired, right? And I was actually very grateful because my mom was willing to head some of that off, and she met them at the door and she said, here's what's going on. This is why this person is not here. And I was really grateful for that. So I don't know if you have anyone that can run interference for you or even text ahead of time, or you could also text people ahead of time and just say, hey, you might not know this has gone on. I don't really want to talk about it while we're there. And I think you understand, or because, others that might overhear, especially the younger folk. And so is there anything that you could do ahead of time? Everyone was so kind and, understanding and cooperative with it. And I was really grateful for that because especially last year, I didn't have the bandwidth to like Elena was saying, to take it on myself. No. Mm-mm. Yep. Do you have any helpful tips or thoughts who are looking at being alone? Yes, Laquita, thank you for bringing that up again. I did want to acknowledge that. I would actually like to hear from you all what ideas you have or those who have been in this situation before. What types of things. So inside of our membership community, we will have coffee, like a live coffee on Thanksgiving and on Christmas Day as well for those who don't have anyone to necessarily send it with. And sometimes it's just because the celebration takes place on a different day too. It's like, oh, well, on Saturday I have, a get together, but on this holiday, I don't. So if you have any ideas, speaking of our membership group, we just do life together in there. And so we're decluttering our houses and simplifying. We're getting our meal planning and our cleaning routines and our to-do lists dialed in. Like we do this. We meet every Saturday morning for an hour and we plan our week together and we learn new tools to do it even better and even more efficiently. And I love this that Michelle said, she said, although my home is not yet at my end goal, my house, my life, and my family's lives have been changed significantly for the better. My resting stress level is down so much. I'm actually surprised how much less stressed I feel on a daily basis, considering I do not consider our home to be at maintenance mode. I am more present and patient with my kids and family. I don't feel like I'm living through a heart attack when the kids bring their friends inside unexpectedly. I am so grateful that Dawn came into my life. Well, I'm not this. I was going to cut that part out actually. And so proud of the home I am now able to raise my children in, and feel so good about teaching them and modeling for them about having a healthy relationship with stuff and material possessions, rather than passing down to them the doom of the chaotic environment we used to have. And so Michelle was part of our membership community. And so again, we just got to practice these things, because I think what you're probably finding in your own life too is we learn the skill and then we practice it. Even like learning how to make our to-do list and to prioritize it, that's actually something we practice. Meal planning is something we practice. Having some kind of cleaning schedule is something that we practice. And I think so many, we get the tool and everyone says, this is the tool, this is the routine or the thing that is going to save you. And we're like, okay. And then when it doesn't work, we're like, yep, see, I never can stick to anything. No, it's because you get the tool, but then you need to practice it and you need to fit it to your specific household and your season of life. And that's what we do together every single week. And so if you are just like needing a little more support and a little bit more accountability, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think probably you have a lot of tools in your toolbox, but you just haven't had the help to practice it and then to adjust it to make sure it really fits for your life and your household and your season of life. So anyways, we'll have a link in the description if you're interested in our membership community. It's just $22 a month right now, and you can quit anytime. 30-day money back guarantee. I'll take all the risk. Like, I believe in it so much. I want you to be like Michelle and be like, wow, I didn't realize how much my house was stressing me out. I don't want to live like that anymore. And certainly when we see how fast our kids grow up, I mean, that is the number one thing I hear from women who are empty nesters is, I wish I would have known this when they are younger. Now, I'll tell all of you, we do the best we can with the information that we have at the time. But if you still have little kids in the house or middle-aged kids in the house, oh my goodness, give us a year. Your house will be so different. You'll feel different. It's awesome. So anyways, ideas for managing tardy guests. Yes. My sister is almost always 30 or more minutes late. The family wants to wait to eat and it all gets cold. Nope. We have made a rule. My mom and I, nope. We start at the time when we say the meal is going to start. That is when we start. Might take a few holidays for everyone to learn this. You might even text people ahead of time and say, hey, just so you know, like I'm being real strict with the meal time this year or whatever. No, we can't, then we're just enabling them to continue to do that. What exactly do you mean by wanting to keep Christmas simple? Why don't you want to participate in the gift exchange? Why are you cutting back on your budget? What is a short response or two? Oh, when people ask this, Kristen. Okay, got it. Okay. At first I was like, wow, if you really don't understand now after 4 days together, why I want to keep it simple. Thank you, Kristen. These are good questions. Okay. Yes. So when people are like, well, why do you want to keep it so simple? This is where we say like, oh, well, we were just realizing that, our kids get stuff all throughout the year now, and the gifts hadn't been as special to them. But when I asked them about it, they love the time together. They love decorating for the holidays. They love coming to your house when we have this get together. That's the part that's really special to them. So we want to bring more attention to that and just a little bit left on the gifts because they don't seem to be as meaningful to them anymore. Something like that. But again, the key is really just to think through it a little bit ahead of time. This is where we have to be pretty resolved in what we're doing and what we believe in. When I was still in the beginning, I was like, I don't know, and they're like, oh, because you hate your children, and I'm like, no, really, I don't hate them, the more you practice this, the more you see the differences in your own kids and your own household, it gets so much easier. And you're like, because our kids are drowning in stuff and they are desperate for human connection. Like, why? Why are you drowning your kids in all this stuff? And why do I have to bring them to your house to get more stuff piled on top of them? They just want to be seen, safe, and supported, whatever. So I've never actually ranted on someone like that, but I think it in my head sometimes. So awesome. All right. Family members who are upset with you holding a no contact boundary with another family member. Ugh, this is a person who was bad mouthing us in our, gross. Right, Christina? Just yuck. Again, this is something where you just need to go in ahead of time. You have your statement planned out and then you stick to it. And here's the biggest thing. If someone doesn't want to understand, if they're not really interested in understanding your perspective, if they're just there to defend themselves or defend the other person, there is nothing that you can say that is going to change their mind. A person has to have a sincere desire to understand before anything you say is going to make a difference. And so if you feel like you are just talking to a wall and it's just like come back and back, like, and you just feel like you're losing your mind because you're like, and then what do? You're like, well, if I could just think of a different way to say it, like, how else could I say it? No. If you find yourself in that, oh, maybe I didn't explain it right. Maybe that is because they do not want to understand. This is actually something I learned from Dr. John Delony too. That has been so helpful in my own life because so many times I was like, maybe I didn't say it right. Maybe, maybe if I explain it this way, why do they keep stepping all over me and my feelings? And, like, oh, maybe they just don't understand. Maybe they don't understand that hurts my feelings. That's because they don't want to understand. That can be very tough to acknowledge with people that are close to us, with people that are supposed to care about our feelings, that, oh, yuck, gross. They don't actually want to understand. They don't want to put themselves in my position for even a minute and try and put themselves in my shoes. They don't want to understand the impact this person has been having on my kids. Gross, right? That is very hard to come to terms with, but when we can and realize that if as I'm trying to explain it, they're not asking more questions like, "Oh, tell me more," or "I don't think I'm following," or "Oh, okay, so when this happened, did this?" If they're not trying to understand, there is absolutely nothing you can say. You cannot say it in just the right way that is going to make them understand. And I'm really sorry about that because that sucks. That really sucks a lot. Any tips for handling conflicts with my kids and nieces, nephews, 6 and under? They can be plain mean. Yeah, that can be tough when bringing your kids somewhere that, like, there are kids that might be mean to them. I've only had a little bit of experience with this, but I really had to tell our kids ahead of time, "Hey, if this happens, come to me. If this like, just come tell me, come share it with me. I will help you in that situation. And if it ends up they have to not play together or do this, so go in with a game plan, but make sure your kids know, hey, if this starts to happen, that's not okay. And I want you to come tell me about it. So that we're not setting them up to be in any kind of like difficult situations too." Karen says, the story I've been telling myself is that my in laws are greedy. How can I change this to be more healthy at Christmas? Well, it very well could be true. And so I think this is something that comes with age. I think, as we get older and wiser, we realize like, oh, that's just like, that is who they are. And they can be who they are. I can't control that's been my experience with them. Okay, it is what it is. But I can decide how much time I spend with them, if I participate in the exchange or not. If my gifts are never good enough, I can opt out of that exchange with them and just say, oh, we're not going to do this year. So being able to look at what you can control in it, because they're going to stay the exact same way that they are. Unless they're like sincerely coming to you and asking you, how could I change or grow in this area? But I'm guessing they're probably not. Ideas for dealing with guilt due to loving from a distance many mentally ill family members to keep my own mental emotional health in a good place. Yeah, Katrina. So hard. So hard. And so again, I think, if you know what you're doing is right, if you're at peace with it, again, it comes down to, I'm not going to be able to make everybody understand what I'm doing, and I'm going to be okay with that. And so I'm going to do the best I can to communicate to them why I'm doing what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, like, I can't control how they respond to it. I went back and forth. Oh shoot, now I can't think of the app. There's an AI app right now. Good. I'll look it up real quick. We were talking about it in our membership group this past weekend because many have found it very helpful just to bounce some of these things. So, it's called feelinggreat.com. We'll put it in the description and everything too. And so, obviously in an ideal world, we could all have like access to a really great understanding therapist who gets us and we can talk through some of these things. For many of us, we don't find the right one. We've been burned by them. I love therapists, don't get me wrong, but also you're not all created equal, right? It's cost prohibitive, it's time prohibitive, or many women have said like the men in their life, there's just things around it that they're not interested in, and that this has been very helpful for them, for teenagers. It's called, so again, feelinggreat.com. It's AI, but it's based on the work of Dr. David Burns. So there is a foundation to it. And what we all talked about is, hey, use it, get some ideas, some, phrases you can text to people, but also have, a friend that you're bouncing it with too, or talking through it with. So we don't want to just come to rely on tools like this, but it can be really, really, really valuable. So again, anyone just feeling kind of stuck in a yucky position, I would maybe trying out something like this for your specific situation and getting some of those phrases that you can use might be really, really helpful. We're traveling with my husband's family for the week of Thanksgiving. Last year we hosted them and I almost lost it. People being super late and selfish, thoughtless. What can I do to survive a week? Yeah, a week is a long time. So you're just going to need to know you have scheduled in breaks. And so talk through like, with your husband, whoever else, what is the week going to look like? When can those breaks take place? And I think if you guys go in with a clear plan and when those times are going to be, sorry, one second, I was trying to make sure this was loaded. We can get through these things. Like we're pretty tough, resilient people. If I know I get a break in an hour, if I know I get a break after dinner or whatnot. Last year at Thanksgiving, we didn't get together with my in-laws. It was so nice to not stress over travel and bringing food. How do we ask for that to be a repeat for this year? Yeah, I would just tell them, we're just in kind of a similar place as last year. The extra stress of traveling and whatnot, I just don't know if we can take it on. And so, and then could there be some kind of alternative? Could we FaceTime but we will plan to get together for Christmas. Often if we can say, not now, but we can do it then. And that can be really good with our kids too. Okay, we can't do this right now, but let's plan to do it on Saturday. We can't do this, but could we do this instead? It might not be apples to apples, but if there's something we can do, that usually feels a little bit better. How can I best support my husband who wants to have his aging parents for Christmas? They are so high maintenance. It puts a strain on my husband who is also really grieving our daughter. Oh, Gail, that's so much. That's a sticky situation because we know with parents like that, we don't know how many more holidays that we're going to have with them. And so I would wonder if you sat down and just said, hey, honey, like, let's just talk this through. I know how much stress this brings on to you and extra pressure. Could we go out to dinner with them instead? So often we just think it's all or nothing. And so and maybe you don't have any ideas, but you're like, let's just talk it out and see if there's anything else we could think of. And just put it out there. A lot of times we're assuming we know what he's thinking or what he wants, and maybe he'll say, you know what? Yeah, this year, normally it's very important, but you're right. I don't have it in me this year. And maybe he might surprise you with that answer. Thank you, Gail. Gail says, membership is a value. I didn't realize how it would change my routine. I hated mornings. I met the day slowly. Now I'm up every morning and productive. Yes, Gail, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing. What time in the morning do you meet in your group? So every morning I post a daily video at 8 a.m. Central Time or 7 a.m. Central Time, but you can just watch it anytime. And then we meet at 8 a.m. Central Time, but there's always a replay available directly following if that time doesn't work out for you. What do you do about family that lives nearby and you never see during the year but expects you to come over for holidays and do multiple gift exchanges? Yeah, Sharon, I think you just need to figure out what are you able to give? What can you joyfully give? How much time together? What gift exchanges can you ask to opt out of? And again, like we talked about yesterday, you can opt out of it yourself, even if others are going to continue on with it. So are there one or two things? And again, maybe this is a slow ship we change. We adjust one thing this year, opt out of the gift exchange. Next year, excuse me, I go for less amount of time. And so each year we work to make it just a little bit better. Ooh, I can just tell there's like so much energy and good questions around this and that this is a big stressor, but you have tools. You have tools. It doesn't have to be the way that it always has been. All right, let's lighten things up just a little bit and talk about decluttering our holiday decor. All right, we are in our childhood bedroom today.
Oh, it looks so different.
It's actually become my mom's storage room for Christmas decor.
Yeah.
So
a whole room.
Oh, which is not surprising to a lot of people, right? Like this is how you do Christmas. Yeah. And my mom loves decorating for Christmas. If your area where you store decorations might look a little bit like this, we're going to share some tips today how we can tackle it. And we're just gonna spend 15 minutes in here and make it 15 minutes better, but I know we can make a huge difference with it.
Okay, I got my Diet Coke.
Oh,
What do
yep.
you got?
Coffee?
All right, we got
Ready?
this.
Go. Step number 1 is to group like stuff with like stuff. So we have some fall decor, Christmas. This also doubles as a sewing room, so there's some sewing stuff up here. So all we're gonna do is roughly zone it. So Christmas is gonna go over here, fall over here, sewing over there. It can be helpful if you're gonna be leaving your space and then coming back at a different time to actually put signs in the spaces. It's just like a really good visual cue of where everything goes. So we're just gonna get started.
So, Mom, what's this?
Easter. It's actually supposed to go like this.
Oh,
It's a
that's so
carrot.
cute. Yeah.
And that's the Easter bag over there.
Okay.
Oh, and we have Easter too. Okay.
Easter zone. Here we go.
We can do it.
We got this.
All right, so we're gonna get to work just sorting like with like and zoning.
Great.
Okay, Easter here. Let's put all the pillows in the chair. See, because then you'll come across things like this. This is actually an empty bag, but it takes up a ton of floor space, you know? So it's like even just by either putting stuff in it or using it as our garbage bag. Look, I already feel like I made a win right
Come on,
here.
everybody. All right. Yeah. If you're playing along at home, we're cheering you on too. You got this.
So growing up, Mom, you always decorated a ton for Christmas.
Yes.
And I love that. Our house
Yes.
was very festive. Even though it was small, we had lots of decorations.
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
And this
So-
is a fond part of my childhood.
and mine.
Yeah. So
Not childhood.
we were trying to
adulthood.
remember. I think we were in like middle school
I think so when you started.
when these came out at Kmart.
This is poinsettia and ribbons.
Yeah.
Fine china.
So for many
Made in China.
yeah, actually made in China. So for many
Yes.
years, we got you various
Pieces to go with it.
with.
Serving pieces and candlesticks and salt and pepper and a gravy boat.
We had talked about actually decorating for Christmas now and then seeing what was left so that we could donate it or pass it on, but we didn't. Sometimes life just happens, right? It ended up being a little bit of a wild week.
Only in that your dad took a header in the cornfield, blue as an E, and I've been saying yes, dear, since Wednesday at lunch.
My mom called me this morning. She's like, I don't think I can wait on your dad 24/7. She's like, it feels like it's like 28 or 29/7.
Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah,
like, I know,
28.
Mom.
Hey,
Yeah, but
What
you've
can I
done a
say?
great job getting rid of or letting go of our stuff in your house.
I have. But talking about this
Mm-hmm.
and the china closet, now I can look at the china closet, and there are some pieces that I've picked up from garage sales. You know, the cute little bowl, the cute little mug, whatever, and I can let that go.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't.
The sentimental stuff? Or-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You don't have a ton of it though.
I
it's
don't
not,
have-
an
it's
overwhelming
contained.
amount. It is. Well, and another thing you did.
overload.
Another thing you've done for many years is when you put the Christmas boxes back away, you would put a sign with the current year on it.
Yes.
So you knew
Yes.
it got used.
I used
past
that
year.
last year, so I'm not looking.
Yeah.
You know,
And then
this
it
was enough.
And then it was very telling when you'd see like, oh, Christmas 2009. That stuff might not be getting used, right? Like that's pretty
Yes.
telling.
Yes.
So that was a
Right.
good idea. I thought that was really smart.
Oh, yay! I had a good tip.
All right, so that was like 9 minutes of work. Isn't that remarkable?
You did most of the work too.
Diana got caught going down memory lane in our other bedroom.
Nana's throwing stuff.
This space feels so much better and it didn't actually
Yeah.
take that much time. And so again, we know how these spaces get like this. Like my mom was like, yeah, see how everything's like right inside the door? Like we would like send the kids up with stuff and it's like, oh, right. Like, so people in our family do that too, right? If that happens to your space, it always feels intimidating and overwhelming. But we didn't get rid of anything in this room.
Right.
We literally just grouped like stuff with like stuff and look how much space we made. And now the next step, of course, is to decorate for Christmas, which isn't actually that far away. And as we decorate, then be aware of what's left in the bins and donate it now because a lot of donation centers won't take Christmas decor later in the year. So we want to get that out of the house now. So permission to decorate a little bit early so you can see what's left over and donate that and have it out of the house so you have even less to put away at the end of the Christmas season, which will feel really good.
And you have room to walk down memory lane. This is so fun.
Yep, that's Diana, the nostalgic one, right? And I'm just like,
True.
let's get to work. So. You know, I think we've all grown a little leery of influencers who are like, this is the best thing ever, and this is the best thing ever, and this is a Pottery Barn dupe, and this is, you know, whatever. And so I thought that I would buy some of the viral holiday decor, and we could unbox it together quick, see if it actually seems like a good quality and worth the investment, because it's not like they give this stuff away. If you've been looking for any upgrades in your holiday decor, and if not, I am just sending it on back. But here's the stuff. The problem is I don't actually remember what a lot of it is, so let's just open it up real quick and look at it. Maybe we'll put it on the mantle a little bit and see if we like it or not. I think this is a garland. Oh yeah, okay, so it's a wired garland. Oh, this is actually really pretty. So you could put it on a mantle, you could put it up a banister. This is a 6-foot section, I believe. It's actually really weighty, and I would say that the branches look very lifelike. And I think especially if you were putting it up a banister, that actually having the wire in it is nice. I think you can get it wired or not wired. And so this I actually think is beautiful, and you would have for like a lot of years. So hey, why don't we just, we'll just throw that on there for right now. These are some bells. Ooh, they're actually like seem really good quality. I think those are really pretty. I think they'd be really pretty too. Like you could put them at the end of a banister or like even outside too. Really good quality. I think these would make a great gift as well. Oh, where should we hang these? And then these are wireless, they're wireless remote control sockets. So if you are plugging in lights, you can plug them into here and then use the remote to turn them on and off instead of having to like plug them and unplug them. So I think those are good for the holidays. These are light up branches. Now the only thing is you have to find your own like vase to put them in, your own vase to put them in. But probably most of us would have something that you could put them in. Oh, interesting. They actually come in like 2 parts, then you have to like stick this in, I guess. They're pretty. So I saw people stick these in with like some other greens, and that looked really cool. And then they have, you know, an outlet here. So let's plug it in and see. No, batteries. Oh, you need batteries. Shoot. But they do have a timer on it. That's kind of nice. All right, I'm gonna have to track down some batteries and we'll get them in here. See how those look. And then these were some twinkle lights. I love putting twinkle lights on the Christmas tree. I think it just makes it look magical. And these ones are kind of like in little bundles, which is kind of cool. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, so I see how they are. They're like that style of light. Well, that's pretty. And I think like with something like this. All right, we have to, maybe we can complete our mantle with some remote control pillar candles. I don't know if they'll look good or will they look cheap. I just didn't think about batteries. All right, yep, we gotta get batteries for these too. There's 4 different sizes. So these are the 4 different sizes. They have plastic wrapped around them, so they're kind of shiny right now. Okay, so apparently I only have 2 AA batteries, so I could only put the batteries in one of them, but it's actually really pretty. And when you take the plastic film off, they have kind of like a wax look to them. So even though, I mean, it's, I don't know, like not real, but actually kind of real looking. I don't know. I think they're really pretty. Okay, I think these are also some greens that you could put in like a vase that I thought could go with the light up one. Okay, and then here's this without a lot of time or energy put into like fluffing or blending them together. But, and I don't have a vase that is the right size for it, but actually I think that could be really pretty if you spent a few minutes on it. So these light up stick things I think are really cool, and they may even work with like some greenery that you already have. So man, it like instantly feels like Christmas in here, and I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't know, kind of enjoying it. Okay, this is another garland. This one looks just a little more green and there's not really variation in it. So, and it is wired. I think this might look nice maybe outside. So it's still nice. It's just very green. I definitely like that one more. It's just like a little softer and more realistic. It's not horrible, but I think I'm gonna send this back. This wouldn't be, I just wouldn't be one that I would choose. I would choose that one over it. So that guy is going back. I think this is a wreath. I can see the wreath back here now. It just needs a little fluffing. I think on the picture, it looked a lot better. How do you fluff a wreath, huh? Ooh, this is pretty. It looks real. I don't know on camera how it looks. I mean, it needs a little like help probably. It looks like your hair when it gets caught in the wind, right? But I think with a little fluffing and maybe like getting everything laying how you want it, but then maybe wrapping like some of those twinkle lights or something around it, or some battery operated lights, it's really realistic looking. But again, it's nice because it's artificial. You can just reuse it year after year. I am just loving that. It feels like instant Christmas in here right now. It makes it so cozy. It's also cold in Minnesota right now, so that, you know. I like the twinkle lights too. Okay. Hey, only one thing that maybe just wasn't, it was fine, it just wasn't my favorite. That's actually not too bad. So if you've been looking for any upgrades in your holiday decor, I will make sure all of this stuff is linked. All right, well, you made it to the end of day 4. You're doing awesome work. This planning you're doing now, man, it is really going to pay off. So tomorrow we're gonna tie up all the loose ends, but for tonight, you don't have a lot of homework. Just decide whether or not you are gonna send out holiday greeting cards, and if so, what type, and if at all possible, take a first step in completing them if you are doing so. And number 2, make an initial pass through your holiday decor. Just refamiliarize yourself with it. Take a look at it. There's probably things there that you can trash or donate, and that would actually feel really good before we start decorating for real. All right, well, I'm excited to see you again tomorrow, but I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you then.